a one-man apocalypse.
Hello everyone and welcome to Overwatch, a quick guide to Roadhog, otherwise known as Pudge due to his resemblance to the character from Dota 2, at least that's what I think he looks like. I believe he was based off of that, but anyways, beside the point, let's get into the really quick guide into how I use or how I perceive Roadhog. So, first things first, let's get into his primary weapon. This is called Scrap Gun. It's basically a flat cannon or a shotgun, however you want to look at it. It's a very, very short range weapon that basically just fires pellets at the guy on the other end. It's plain and simple, all you need to know. So his primary attack, which is his left click, has a fire rate of 1 round per second. It's extremely slow compared to other heroes. The damage done is 4 to 9 per pellet depending on the range, so at max range each pellet does 4 damage, and at minimum range it does 9 damage. There are also 25 pellets per shot. Doing the math, you can deal 225 damage at the closest range, which is enough to one-shot a big bunch of heroes, depending on if you manage to hit all of your pellets. At maximum range, you can do a maximum damage without headshots of 100, but this is very unlikely due to the spread on his normal click. His alternative fire, however, works in a slightly different way. It groups together a lump of scrap or ammo and fires it out as a single medium range projectile that does 50 damage on hit. Once it's reached its furthest point, it will burst into metal fragments and basically just deal the standard damage from there. It can be used to poke down people from a distance and extremely handy when trying to take out Chorborn's turret, for example. His heal ability, which I believe is his E by default on PC, is called Take a Breather, which basically heals Roadhog for a considerable amount of HP, which is 300 per second over 1 second. So it's basically a 1 second heal of 300. It's your only form of sustain if you don't have a healer, and unfortunately it stops you from moving and basically turns you into a big fat target for other people. It's handy to withstand punishment from high DPS heroes. For example, you can sort of, depending on when you get hit, withstand Hanzo's ultimate ability, but you'll also be able to withstand McCree's fan hammer if he doesn't roll, reload, and do it again. His next ability is called Chain Hook. It's basically his signature skill. It's what makes him him, and it's basically what makes him function as a hero. Without this, he would be pretty useless. It's basically a giant pull. If you know Pudge from Dota 2, which is where I got his name from, it's just you throw out a chain, it grabs a hero, pulls them to you, you shoot them in the face, they die. It deals 30 damage on impact, so it does have the ability to kill heroes, however that's highly unlikely. Finally, his ultimate ability is called Whole Hog. It's a large spread-like ability that deals 5,000 damage over the course of the ultimate, which lasts a couple of seconds, 6 seconds to be precise. It's a little counterintuitive how this ability works. Every time Whole Hog hits an enemy, it pushes them a little away, so you'll be doing less and less damage over time as long as they're out in the open. So this ultimate should basically be used in tight flanked corners where they're pushed up against the wall and have nowhere to go. Now we've gone over his abilities, we'll start with the basic strategy of how to use this hero. To start with, he's not a tank. He shouldn't be played as a tank, he shouldn't be on the front lines tanking damage, otherwise all he's doing is just charging up enemies' ultimates, which you don't want. He has some decent sustain, however that's not enough to tank on the front lines. He's also not really a huge defensive hero, but he can be played quite effectively in either role. When he's either attacking or defending, he should always be played offensively. He should be looking for flanks to pick up enemies with the hook and destroying them up close. That said, you should be approaching enemies from the side or behind where he excels. Success with this character is mostly determined on how accurate you can hook enemies and how well you pick your targets. He has some good matchups and he has some bad matchups, so let's quickly go over those. People who you should definitely go for are squishies who can be easily killed. For example, this includes Tracer, who can be hard to hit, but if you get the hook off and hold down the left mouse button to fire, you'll immediately shoot her and kill her in the face. Just because she has 150 health, which is extremely low, you'll be able to one-shot her easily. Other enemies include Widowmaker, who you can easily hook and shoot in the face while she's sniping people, and Bastion in his turret mode is an easy target as well. You can also target any support or healer, but avoid other tanks such as Reinhardt and Zarya. Heroes who you should avoid are basically heroes that can put out higher amounts of damage up close and stay alive whilst you're shooting them in the face. Examples of this is Reaper, who's a pain in the ass. If you hook Reaper in and you don't get a lot of headshots with your first blast, he can easily just phase out and then shoot you in the face and just basically kill you. Reaper is a pain in the ass. McCree is also a bad choice to engage if you miss your hook, especially up close where he can fan hammer, roll and fan hammer you again to just kill you outright. Soldier 76 is a pain even if you do manage to get the hook off, because he can just slap down his heal and just heal through most of the damage while shooting you in the face. Finally, someone who you should definitely avoid unless you're with a team is Mei, who can pretty much 1v1 anybody and can make you a big fat target for anyone else with her freeze ability. So that's basically Roadhog. I'm going to go through a few tips now just to summarise the video. So 1, as stupid as it sounds, try not to miss your hook. It's his main ability. You should always be striving to hit these, which I know it sounds silly, but just do your best to hit them. That being said, you should look for the perfect hooks. For example, whilst Pharah is doing her ultimate, you can hook her out of the sky, shoot her in the face, she's dead. You can also hook Bastion in his turret form to pull him out of turret form, shoot him in the face, he's dead. Finally, you must know that his strongest rotation, that being his strongest sequence of attacks, is hook, primary fire, and then melee attack. Once you've got this down, you should be able to kill most sub or near 200 health heroes instantly. Thanks very much for watching my real quick guide to Roadhog. I'll be back with another video soon, not sure how soon, but thanks very much for watching and I'll see you next time.